This is Heavy Conversation with Bruce and Jody, a podcast where we talk about being a big guy in today's world.
I'm Bruce.
And I'm Jody. Here we go.
All right, here we go. All right, here we go.
Hey, Bruce.
Good afternoon, Jody.
How's it going over there?
It's good. It's good. You know, as good as it can be.
Of course.
At
Right?
home.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's another sunny, beautiful day, so I'm excited about that. I haven't been
Yes.
out yet, but I'm planning on getting out a little bit after this, so.
It does look great out the window. I'm with you. Yes. I know. I think we're just going to go and kind of just take a road trip, a scenic drive, just to get
Okay.
out
Yeah,
and enjoy being outdoors and away from the house.
that
You
sounds
start to
like a
get
good idea.
You get a little antsy after so much time being stuck at home.
Yeah.
So
I'm grateful that I'm kind of back to work, so I can get out of the house a little bit for that reason.
definitely has to help. And I think all of this kind of leads into the theme of this episode,
Yes.
which is body image and the pandemic. And now you've probably heard a lot of talk about, in the news about, oh, here's how you can keep exercising. Here's how you can do this and that. And how, and we've talked a little bit about how you don't have to be productive during the pandemic. But it's also, there's the other side of that where being stuck at home, if you're in this situation where you are quarantined, self-quarantined, not working, you're at home, whatever, all the time, that can really, that can do a number on you. And I think there's a lot to talk about within that.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of stuck in the same four walls with the same, person or people, or maybe you're in an apartment by yourself. It starts to really, you start tearing at the wallpaper and start like scratching at the walls a little bit. I know that I was starting to get to that point a little bit, depending on the weather that we were having here in Portland. If it was a rainy few days or dreary few days, it was just like, oh my God, I got to get out of here. So
Right.
just trying to figure out things that were, easy to do, or things I enjoyed doing to, make it part of some sort of routine or habit when we were locked down was really important for me. So there was a couple different things that I was trying to do to, either get out or, stay focused or whatever. So yeah.
Yeah, it's important, and I have definitely been feeling it. I would say over the last month, just feeling, uh, like it's the same thing, different day. You get up in the morning, you're doing the exact same thing. You're at home, you're just not getting out, having any experiences, and it starts to wear on you a little. And it's my wife and I and our kids, and we're here in the house. And we've been here in the house for what, 4 months,
Yeah.
something like that. So it's like, we are all getting to that point where you need to shake it up. You need to break things up. And I think for me, it's less of what I've been seeing on social media and seeing other people talking about where maybe they're concerned with weight gain, which that is not a concern. Shouldn't be a concern for anyone listening to this. We're in a pandemic. We are in an unprecedented time. That kind of stuff it's not important right now. It's like, I don't think that the weight loss thing is as important ever, but it's not, it's just not one of those things that has
it's not something to really focus on and
Right.
get worked up about. It's like, it's more about a mental well-being that I think we're going to kind of talk about a little bit more. And just like, maybe it is something that you're focused on because it's a noticeable thing, but I think it's something not to get, like, give yourself a little bit of a break, because we are experiencing something that probably have never experienced before. And sometimes those like protective, like nesting kind of instincts kind of start setting in, and you're just like eating more or eating out of boredom sometimes, or whatever it may be. But yeah, it's just, we're going to talk about more about like mental health kind of stuff, and to keep yourself from going out
Right.
of your mind a little bit when you're stuck in the
Yeah.
house all day.
Right, right, and depression is it's a real thing, and it's very real whenever you are in this kind of situation. For many people who are just like they don't have anybody, they're
Hmm.
doing this on their own. They're blocked off from the world, and they're stuck at home, and that is very difficult. And it it is important to know that first of all, it's okay to feel whatever way you feel,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
to uh, to try to look at ways that you can sort of work through it. And I think one of the things that I'm finding is that um, I have to keep busy somehow. I have to have projects. It may not be work. Like I am definitely finding that it is more difficult to write articles and do those kind of things.
Yeah, sometimes the creativity juices just
Oh,
aren't there. Yeah,
right,
we've been struggling
right.
with that a little bit too. Just trying to find, because you get inspiration when you're out in the world and you get
Totally.
things and people just aren't doing much. So it's hard to
Right.
get inspiration or to have things to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah, and so for me, I've been doing a lot of cleaning and landscaping and projects around the house, and working on things that I just hadn't taken the time to do before, or had, but wasn't as focused on those. Now it's
Right.
like, okay, how can I do this thing to the yard, or what can I do
Hmm.
on the deck, or you get all these things that are just like so. I don't know. It gives you something to do. It gives you
Yeah.
a goal and a focus.
Yeah. I,
So,
I definitely, for the first few weeks or so was just kind of numb to the whole idea of the pandemic and being quarantined and didn't really do much of anything. But then after it was like, okay, this is going to be a while, I was like, okay, I also need something to be working on because I was used to going to work every day.
right.
So I kind of refocused some of my energy into doing some online like courses for
Mhm.
marketing and whatever might be interesting to you. Sign up for some online courses and can watch the videos and do the little extra activities that they do for you. And it was just something to really kind of put some sort of a routine into my day was really nice, and something to be like, okay, this is what I'm working on. So when I get up, I'm like, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is something that I'm doing today. Or,
Right.
I had some sort of thing I'm working on or working towards, which was
Something
it really was really nice to add that to my routine.
there was something that you had talked about, previously, just about doing like Zoom chats and talking
Hmm.
to friends and having kind of, cocktail hours similar to our happy hour, where
Yeah, yeah.
you're actually able to talk to friends and kind of hang
Hmm.
out and all of that. I can see a real benefit to being able to do that, because I'm finding that I'm missing that time. Like you brought me a box of beer, which is
Yep, yep.
glorious, and we got to talk, and I was like, man, this is the first time that I've been able to I mean, we stood in the driveway, socially distanced, and,
Yep,
and
yep.
talked for a while, and it was like, that was great, man. I miss just talking,
Right,
it's
right.
so I really see the value in that, and it was something that I hadn't thought a lot about before.
Yeah, I've done not as many recently, just with getting back to work and trying to figure out my schedule. But yeah, we would do these like game nights. There was some sort of I can't like Jackbox trivia or weird games that a bunch of my improv group friends would do on a semi-regular basis, and it was just nice get together, chat, have fun, have like a little game that we were playing and sometimes not really playing, and just chatting about whatever was going on. And then I did a little bit bigger one for my birthday with a bunch of my family and friends I hadn't seen in quite a while. And it was really nice to, it's hard to sometimes connect when everyone's spread out across the country. And it was nice to connect with old friends and chat and see their faces. And actually, it's not quite like standing in the driveway with a friend or going to a bar,
Sure.
but it was really fun just to reconnect and kind of chat. And it really was it really felt like it relieved a little bit of stress and kind of anxiety just to have fun and chat and not focus on the pandemic per se, but like,
Mhm.
what are you guys up to? What's going on? And,
Right,
just
right.
BSing and having a good time. It was really nice.
Yeah, yeah, just being able to have that kind of connection, I think, is important,
Hmm.
especially if you aren't willing to kind of get out and, you know, go be around other people, which,
Yeah.
it seems like if you're going to do that, you need to be very safe and very careful if you're going to be
Yep.
outside of your house. So, nothing wrong with taking extra precautions and taking your time at this point. But yeah, that's that I'm definitely going to try more of the Zoom kind of stuff. I think you inspired me to
Hmm.
do that.
Yeah,
So
they are really fun and it's easy. You're still in your home. It's you can either do it from your phone and or there's other kinds of apps that other than
right,
Zoom. You can do FaceTime with some
Mhm.
friends or whatever, or you
Right,
know, any of those kind of things, just to get some FaceTime with your friends or family or whoever. And
definitely.
yeah, I know a lot of people are doing like virtual events and stuff like that, trying to just have some kind of connection again with your friends and family and whatnot. So
Right.
it's really fun.
Yeah. Yeah, and another thing that I think is really important is, like I said, having goals or things to do, and for me, that usually translates into like work
Hmm.
or a project of some sort, because it's just, it just works for me. But
Yep.
I think having a hobby or taking time to do something that you find to be fun, whether it's playing a video game or reading a book or doing a puzzle or
Hmm.
painting or whatever that thing is, um, being able to take the time to do that, it can help you. It can help you kind of process your thoughts. It can help you just kind of feel better
Hmm.
generally.
Hmm.
So take the time for that, because if I don't know, if you're like me, it's easy to be like, no, 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 I should be doing something productive. I should be working, and it's
Yeah.
like there's different kinds of productivity, and uh, doing things that are good for your soul
Yeah.
is important too.
Yeah. I also haven't been doing it as regular as I would want to, but doing a little bit of like meditation, or yoga. That kind of stuff is really nice to, especially when for me, the yoga really helps, because was sitting on the couch quite a bit, so I wasn't really that active. So felt like my body was really kind of stiffening up and just being a little bit, my back was getting out of whack. So just doing some modified yoga stuff is really really helpful. I think did we take a yoga class?
We did.
I'm
We
like, wait,
we
we
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
So
we did.
it was kind of a, I don't remember what it was called, but like fat yoga basically, where you kind of do some modified positions, and you can find online videos and stuff like that. But it's really fun just to, well, I don't know, fun, but it was really helpful for me to be able to not have my body quite so rigid and stiff and achy, and it really helps with my
Sure.
back especially.
It's really interesting because I did an interview last week with someone who is a yoga teacher who also does a podcast, and before we started, she had us kind of do these breathing exercises, which
Mm-hmm.
at first I was kind of like, oh, this could be, I try to be as open as I can when I go into different situations, and we did it, and I mean, I felt amazing. Like after
Mm-hmm.
the entire experience was done, it was great, and it reminded me that if you have an Apple Watch, it reminds you to take time to breathe and do all this,
Yep.
and I'm always
Yep.
like, nah, 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 but man, I felt good. Like I felt centered, I guess.
Yeah. Well,
And
taking deeper breaths and slowing down your breath really, it release or reduces your stress level too, and it like slows down your heartbeat a little bit. Because I know, we can get kind of sucked into either the news or social media stuff or whatever's going on, and it really kind of ramps you up. And just taking a minute to take a couple deep breaths and just kind of focusing on your breath, really, even just a couple minutes throughout the day is can do quite a bit for your, just bringing down your stress level and calming you down a little bit. It really does. It helps. I mean, people have been doing it for forever, doing yoga and meditation, and that kind of getting centered and mindful of your
right,
breath and stuff like that is really important.
you know what else is important?
Uh-oh.
This beer that you gave me that I've been
Oh,
waiting to try. It's
okay.
yes, it's beer time. Uh, I don't know if you've tried this one yet, from Anchorage Brewing Company. It's called Lycanthropy.
I don't know if I did try that one
It
yet.
has a creepy werewolf on the
Oh,
front.
maybe I did. I don't know.
It is a What is it? It's a double India Pale Ale with
Oh,
spelt and passion fruit DDH. I have
mm,
no idea what DDH is,
I
but
don't either.
it's got DDH in it.
Woo!
And it's 8.4%.
Oh Lord,
So there we go.
you'll be
See?
done after this one.
Yep. The end of my day is going to be right after this podcast. So,
That's
yes.
okay. That's all right.
Mm-hmm. It is. It is. That's the other thing is don't be so hard on yourself, right? Especially right now. If
Mm-hmm.
we're all trying to deal with this and it's easy to be like, man, I should have done that or I should be doing this or whatever, but it's hard. It's hard.
Mm-hmm.
So
It is.
this is
What'd
really
you
good.
what'd you think of that? It was good.
This does not taste like an IPA at all. This is one of those that you would drink and it's almost so let's see here. So it says that it has spelt and passion fruit, and you can taste the passion fruit. So
Okay.
it's slightly juicy toward the end. There's no like bitter kick like a lot of IPAs have. This is it's very easy to drink. It's not a sour. It doesn't have that sour kind of flavor, but it does have a juiciness that means that you could drink a lot of this and then it'll just like hit you. It'll hit you fast and you'll be like, wow, I didn't expect it. It's very drinkable. Uh, I I want more of this because this is
Okay.
glorious.
Yeah, I
So
don't know what the DDH
mm,
means.
I don't know. I don't know either. I'll have to
Anchorage Brewing Company. I was. Hmm.
yeah. Let's see. DDH beer.
And I'm like, I don't know what that means.
This search brought to you by Google.
Right.
Uh,
Well, my
yes.
beer is from Westbound and Down. It's from Colorado,
Nice.
Idaho Springs, Colorado. It's the Coloradoan. It's a Mexican style lager, which is really
Nice.
I really enjoy those during the summer.
Oh
Kind
yeah.
of a refreshing, clean kind of flavor. It's really good. I like those. Brewed with Colorado hops from High Wire Hops, south of the border lager yeast, and flaked maize. So it's got some corn in there.
Ooh.
Crisp and refreshing. Perfect partner to kick back and relax after a long day. Or in the middle of the day, I guess is good too.
That's right.
It's
Right.
a 4.9% alcohol. So
Nice.
yeah, it's good. I already
Good.
opened this one before we
All right.
started. So
Nice. Very nice. DDH stands for double dry hopped,
oh
which
geez.
someone was screaming at the podcast
I did
players.
know that, but I was like, what?
So,
DDH?
so did I. As soon as I read it, I was like, doesn't even. I believe it says that in something on this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes, Anchorage, Alaska beer. So I don't think I've ever had an Alaskan beer before. So, yay.
Nice.
Yes.
Very nice.
Mm. So something else that I've been struggling with a bit, and honestly, this has probably been a longer term kind of thing. But I think being at home and cut off from the rest of the world has kind of exacerbated it. Is um, being so caught up in social media and in the news and what you're able to see on your phone and um, it's your for a lot of us it's our only link to the outside world. So uh it just everything it just hits you at once,
Yeah.
and there's so much and uh there's so much that's important, but it's I think being able to regulate your intake of
Mm-hmm.
social especially is important.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been kind of coming to that realization over time. It's not always easy, I think that it can make things more difficult, just seeing you know horrible comments from people that you went to high school with or
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
I don't know,
Yeah, there's a
whatever it is.
lot. There's a lot of that. And I think I mentioned this about, watching the news. I've really cut back my intake of news.
Yeah.
I do it at a certain time of the day. I only read a little bit, kind of highlights what's happening, what's going on, trying to stay informed, but not falling in that rabbit hole and, trying to, getting in a spiral of whatever, just trying to stay informed what's going on.
Right.
If are there any new restrictions in our state that are happening, or are we opening different things, whatever that is. That's probably the main thing that I'm kind of staying aware of. But try not to get too much into political things, just highlight stuff. And
Sure. Sure.
and even on social media, it can, whatever the new thing is that happened the day before today or whatever, trying not to get too sucked into it, still staying informed, but not getting caught up and, like I always say, falling kind of into that rabbit hole and reading
Yeah.
comments. And that just is really hard to, stay out of. So if you don't start it, it's easier to not fall in and get really sucked in and get upset and start,
Right.
writing nasty things and,
Yeah.
getting into some war with someone about some comment they made or whatever.
Right.
um
Right.
it has been very beneficial for me to just kind of take a little step back,
Mhm.
um and, like I still staying informed, but yet not getting sucked in too much, because it can really rile me up, and then I'm not sleeping, and then it's just kind of
Mhm.
a cycle of, stuff I don't want to get into. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. You need that space to not be focused
Hmm.
on that. And I think that's where, um, maybe before the pandemic, it was a little bit easier because you could look at something, then you could go out for a walk
Hmm.
or a
Hmm.
bike ride or garden, go do your gardening or whatever,
Hmm.
and now we don't have as many of those options. So
Yeah.
you have to be a lot more mindful about it. And that's not always easy, especially when if you see something that infuriates you, then it's
Yeah.
a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
You kind of get,
yeah,
yeah, you'll get really focused on it because there's not much going on. So
right,
I know that I did that a little bit for a little while, and I was like, okay, I need to rein it in, pull it back a
right,
little bit, and
right.
not get, because yeah, I was like, went for a while not really sleeping at all, because it just, my mind, it's hard to get my mind to stop, because
Hmm.
even if I'm not in there, I'm still like, I can't believe that person did this or whatever it was,
Right,
or I can't believe they're doing this or
right.
whatever it is. And then I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
still you're still going about this in my brain. And so
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's. I mean, I think some of these, when you hear some of these suggestions, it's like, oh yeah, yeah. Of course I know that I should try and do that, but it's
Hmm.
actually doing those things, taking those steps. It can be difficult, but I think that when you do, it's worth it. It's
Hmm.
sometimes it's like taking the steps to try and get out of your own head.
Hmm.
There's obviously no harm in, if you need to talk to somebody, talk about how you're feeling, tell people.
Yep.
um, you don't have to go through things alone, even with all of this going on, there's still people who are willing to help, whether it's a
Yeah.
friend or whether you need to talk to somebody, a professional, a therapist or whatever. You've got those options and don't be afraid to take them.
Yeah,
So
definitely. There are still options to do chats, video chats, video
mhm,
appointments, all that kind of stuff. Staying aware of your mental health and doing what you need to do to um, reach out to people, and, whatever it is that you need to do. But yeah, I would definitely recommend reaching out to friends, even if it is, you don't specifically talk about the, whatever issue, some new news thing that's going on. Just
sure.
connecting and having a good time can really, get your mind off of it for a while and reconnect with your friends and family, or chosen family. All that kind of stuff is really good. But you can also reach out to, I know a lot of therapists are doing these video chat kind of appointments and things like that, or doctor appointments.
Mm,
Do a lot of over the phone stuff, and, you do
right.
appointments like this. And yeah, it's really important to continue to take care of yourself, however you need to do that. But yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Well, hopefully this helps. And if anything, it at least lets you know that you are not alone if you're feeling like
Mm-hmm.
this,
Mm-hmm.
because I know I am, and I know that there are a lot of other people out there who are, and we're kind of working through it together. Who knows how much longer this is going to go, but stay safe. Do things that are good for you, and hopefully that'll help make a difference.
Keep listening to us every week.
Please.
Yeah, we've got new episodes every Tuesday, so it'll be your Tuesday escape to listen to two sexy guys on your podcast wherever you're listening to us.
Yes.
Or you can also watch us on YouTube. You can find our videos on YouTube as well. Just search Heavy Conversation.
That's right.
All right. Well, thanks, Bruce.
All right. Thanks, Jody. See you again next week.
Yes. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Heavy Conversation. Be sure to like and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you get your
podcasts.